I do want to talk to you about the idea of your entertainment tonight,
Yes.
because one of the things I had been thinking of when you had been talking about your stuff and the whole system here is that, okay, if you're going to be an independent producer means doing everything.
Yep.
Everything. And tabletop gaming developed the system that sort of organically or whatever, and we had this. Now that doesn't mean that it's easy and you still have to do everything yourself, but as far as reviewers and people who talk about games and things like that, the independent side, there are a lot of people on YouTube who do that and things like that. But when you were talking about your independent tonight, do you know independent?
I like independent tonight. I like that.
Independent tonight. The I thought about, do you know outside of YouTube doing it itself, who I thought about was Film Threat. Do you know Film
Chris?
Threat? Yeah, Chris Gore and Film Threat. When you said that, I instantly over here said that was what Film Threat was supposed to be. Film Threat was supposed to be our independent entertainment tonight.
Is that what Chris said?
No, it's what I said.
Oh,
it's what when you said that we need on your YouTube channel, that we need that. Where is that? Of course, you were talking about YouTube creating it, but I went, Chris Gore and Film Threat was that. So I really would like, I'm a fan of them, so I follow them.
Oh yeah.
But I was following Film Threat for about a year now and stuff like that, and their YouTube and stuff like that. And of course, they were putting out independent trailers, and they did put out a trailer for the Cultists, and they did post about the Cultists and reviews on their channel. So I really appreciate on their website. I really appreciate that, and I've talked to Chris Gore. But I've noticed since about maybe February or something like that they have turned
into a review channel.
They talk about Star Wars. They talk about Marvel, and I can't blame them, because obviously, like, okay, we're talking about people's independent films here, and we're going nowhere, And so if we talk about Star Wars, because Chris Gore has his video about Star Wars that's got like 160 million views, or whatever it is, something ridiculous like that. So obviously people want to hear Chris Gore talk about Star Wars. So it doesn't surprise me that eventually, after talking about everybody's independent films for months or years or however long it's been, that they eventually say, you know what, we should just talk about Star Wars. And then they've been growing since then. I've been watching. What do we think about that? Because that's a systematic problem too.
The issue that I have, and I'm not saying it's guaranteed, is that while I want YouTube to just provide the tools, they need to provide the blessing. It has to be a YouTube blessed independent tonight show. It can't be just some person they've hired, or then it becomes, what is it, G47, that horrible game channel that.
Oh yeah, that was a whole bunch of drama, right?
Yeah, a whole bunch of drama. Was it G something or G4?
G4, yeah, G4. Yeah,
G4, yeah. And it looked slick, but even then it wasn't slick enough. The sets kind of looked slick, but the people on it still look like hosers. It's got to be up there with like an Entertainment Tonight, very slick show and interviews and someone who really knows how to do that level show that will then, I guess, transfer that excitement over to the independent production. That's the one thing that YouTube must support. That's the one piece of the puzzle. They've got to bless this show and give it their full blessing.
I don't know personally that it has to be the production value, because obviously people on YouTube are very used to watching us like the StreamYard right here.
Right.
But if
it can't be like us, it can't be. Even if people made fun of it, even if they became very meta about it, but people are affected by style, even if they go, oh no, YouTube is kind of their own kind of thing and we're kind of grooving on this stuff or whatever. I used to drive a Mercedes and I can't believe the number of people who go, hey Paul, that's a nice Mercedes. Well, okay. The car makes the person. People are affected by it. And yeah, you know what, at the very beginning people might poo-poo it and go, oh, that's way too slick. But then, you know what? Over time, they'll, an independent producer that's put together some movie, like what's the one which was the shaky cam movie? that took off.
Oh, Blair Witch.
Blair Witch. So if I did that for, $10 and a box of cigars, and I had that promoted on a show where the presenters were professional and weren't umming and awing and knew how to really pitch the show, I would be thrilled. I wouldn't be mad that it doesn't look like it's from someone's basement.
Well, that is a good point as well, that you and I and a lot of the people that we talk to are definitely in the trenches of YouTube. So this is the kind of stuff that we are
and I've come out of that old era. I know it works.
That if you actually wanted to promote it more mainstream, which you probably would have to do in order to get, I don't really like the term normie, but let's use the term normie. If you want normies to come and watch the shows that are on YouTube, maybe those are not the people who are watching productions like this, that you would need more. So I could see
right.
that.
And it would then provide. So if the YouTube Entertainment Tonight channel, and I'm just riffing on this, made a product valuable, then the YouTube channels like Chris Gore that wasn't making any money on the independent channels will then jump at the chance for some AdSense cash because XYZ movie has been promoted, is now getting hot.
And now they can talk about it.
Now they can talk about it, and they can afford to talk about it because they're not the ones breaking it.
Right.
They should.
They can't afford to talk about the independent films. Realistically,
correct. And so my plan is even more genius than I anticipated.
All right.
Because now all the people who want to cash in on AdSense will be all over the productions promoted by Independent Tonight. Because now people are interested. There's some interest now building. See, this all makes sense. Wow.
I think there is a model here. And I don't want to go into this in any detail, but when I was sketching out stuff, when I was first thinking about, okay, I'm going to start this new company that's going to be doing these shows, things like this. Right. Of course, I sketched things out with doing products and things like that. And I think there is also a model there, but it's going to take some effort to do because you've got to put a lot of capital behind creating a bunch of stuff before.
And one of the things that about YouTube is that you want to be able to catch the interest wave. Mm-hmm. So if YouTube has a show that creates the interest wave, and then the parasites, I'm so cynical. But then I don't mind. I mean, it's one of the things that you learn about YouTube is, do I do my She-Hulk review today? I went, screw it. I'm catching the algorithm wave. Just gonna do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
Just do it. Yeah. But I put some work into it. I mean, I didn't just extemporize for a half an hour about something. I mean, to me, I've got standards, and I wrote it the way I write things to within an inch of its life, and tried to create something that didn't insult people's intelligence. So, but do it in any way that you want. So if YouTube creates value, and then that wonderful parasitic universe that it has created then gloms onto a product and amplifies it, that works great, and it fits the model that YouTube has. It doesn't fight it. So, you're my rubber ducky, right? You know what a rubber ducky is?
I know, but not in this context.
No, so it's a programmer. It's a programmerism. All the game programmers out there know what I'm talking about. Is that programmers live very solitary lives. One, because programming, sometimes you need to tell everyone to shut up and you have to be on your own to think things through, but you need to talk to someone. And you'll find on programmers' desks a rubber ducky, and they'll talk to them. And they'll talk through their code.
I'm very happy to be that.
Yeah. So I used to be the rubber ducky for our chief programmer. We would go someplace and he would be stuck on a huge network firewall problem. And we'd just sit in the hallway of the NOC, and he would just talk to me. And I just shut up, and he'd just chat to me for half an hour. And then he'd go, I figured it out. And he'd go in and fix it.
I'm absolutely happy to play that role.
So there, so now, we've now created another piece to it, that this supports the natural aspect of YouTube where this allows the people who want to talk about independent productions to make money off of that,
to actually do it.
to actually do it.